So England are kicking off their campaign against Iran. So we asked both of you for your starting 11s for that game. Do you even remember what you said? I've got it written down.
Well, you start.
I've got Pickford. I did change Walker for short left back, Trippier right back. I've gone Stones and Dyer, 2 City midfield players, Bellingham and Rice, and then I've gone Saka on the right.
You've gone Maddison.
Maddison in the hole, and Phil's Foden and Kane up front.
So you actually picked 8 of the same players, which
it's not bad.
No, it's not bad. The players that you've picked that are the same: Pickford, Trippier, Stones, Dyer, Rice, Maddison, Foden, and Kane. You've picked different formations. Graham, you have also picked.
I initially picked Walker, didn't I? Picked Walker.
Yeah, and then you put Dyer in. So you've also got Harry Maguire.
Yeah, that's twice you've said his name.
That's rude. Trent Alexander-Arnold and Raheem Sterling. And then Sam, you've got Shaw, Bellingham and Saka. So any strong disagreements with some of the other ones' players?
I don't think
he's a manager. Being a manager, I've been a manager. Just preferences. I mean, my team was picked for the back 3. I've now gone Dyer, Maguire and Stones. Is that correct?
Yeah, you have, yeah.
I've gone Trent on the right, and I've gone Trippier on the left, because I think he's better than Shaw on that side. No Chilwell there, obviously. And then I've gone with Maddison and Rice sitting. So Maddison midfield player, Rice sitting up front. I've gone with Sterling because I think I don't think he lets England down. Saka's a young man that we may see in the World Cup, depending how results go. Now Sterling plays. And then on the right side, Foden, who I actually think is destined to be an absolute star. And Kane up front. You're asked by newspapers and other people that I work for, pick a youngster who's going to be the rising star. And they started throwing all these names, foreign names. Pedri at Barcelona, the other guy at Barcelona who played for Spain. You've got one on your doorstep. Foden could be an absolute worldie.
Okay. You've also gone for Trent in your team.
Yeah, I know why you've asked that.
Go on then, Graham. Take the stage.
I mean, I think once you get across the halfway line and you're attacking, he is the best wing-back / full-back out there in world football. The way he kicks the ball, his delivery. If there's any golfers in the room, he's got every single club in his bag. He can fade it, he can drive it, he can draw it. He's got a wonderful right foot. So the hardest thing in football to do is score goals. Now, I come with all due respect to Iran, England. This is a Scotsman term. England are playing the mighty Iran. That's why I've gone for him.
Okay, Sam, why isn't Trent in your team then? Because you were nodding along.
Honest, no question about his ability. It's just he's mentally at the moment he's struggling confidence-wise, and I saw him doing some of the things that I would never expect him or seem to do. And probably Graham's right. That's probably me being a big daft centre half. Sort of looking at his defensive side and what's happened to him at Liverpool a bit, and he actually got substituted recently. So it's a confidence game for me. Is he got enough confidence to go and forget about what's happened at Liverpool and just go and be same with Maguire? I mean, I think it's been a bit of a disgrace what's happened to him not being picked for Manchester United over what is a 5'10", 5'8" centre half.
But surely the argument is because obviously I was going to come on to Harry Maguire next because he is a big talking point, has been for a while now. He's not playing, but also when he has been playing, he's not been in form, Sam.
No, he's not been in the greatest of form, and then again, I think that Gareth is a pretty loyal person, so that's probably why he may well pick him. My formation, different to Graham, just to go on that, is we're playing Iran. I don't think we need to be worried too much defensively, only about counter-attacking, and it's more about creativity and scoring goals against what will most of the time be 11 behind the ball. So Foden can score goals, Kane, Saka, Maddison's been scoring goals for fun for
He's
Leicester.
in brilliant form.
You know what I mean? So that was the way I saw it, and obviously fullbacks, both fullbacks will be able to venture forward, which is natural for them, for their teams. Perhaps not as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold, but they're both in good form.
Surely, I mean, you guys can tell me as former players, with Harry Maguire, confidence-wise, isn't that going to be an issue? And he'll know that all eyes are on him, and people might be waiting to be like, you see Gareth?
You mean the press?
Yes, the press.
Would be waiting. Yeah, they'll be waiting.
Or fans as well, because, football
Yeah,
fans.
well, the press,
Football.
yeah, the fans have been brainwashed by the press.
Do you think?
Oh, totally. Utterly. It's never stopped, has it?
See, that's my fear. If a Scotsman can have a fear about England doing well at a World Cup. But my fear, I mean, I joke about it, but I have to admit, English football has been absolutely fantastic for me. The lifestyle it's given me and the experiences I've had. But that's my fear for England, that other than Harry, I don't know what you feel, other than Harry scoring goals, where else are the goals going to come from? I know you've mentioned Foden, who I've given my opinion about him. Maddison, I'm an enormous fan of his. He had to be in the squad, and that's why I've started him in my 11. Yeah. I think if we're going on to, you want to continue about Harry Kane? Harry Kane is a world-class player. My definition, we're in a business now where everyone's a club legend, everyone's a great player, nearly everyone's a world-class player. I'll give you my definition of a world-class player. You're a world-class player, in my opinion, if you could leave the club you're at and go and get in anyone else's team. England have one world-class player, in my opinion.
Harry.
Kane, I'm guessing, not Maguire.
Yeah.
Just to.
Did I say Maguire?
No, you said Harry Kane. We were chatting about Maguire earlier.
Harry Kane is a worldie for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? As a Spurs fan, oh
you
my
agree
God,
totally.
we have to cut that. As an Arsenal fan, Graeme, I have to admit, I agree with you. On the subject of where goals are going to come from, though, also Bukayo Saka.
He's not on my team. It'll be difficult for him.
No.
That's true.
Well,
I mean, very, very magical.
When we talk about confidence with Trent and Harry Maguire, we've got the man with superb confidence, because Arsenal are top of the league at the moment and creating and scoring and continue to do so. So that confidence is like sky high up there. And obviously can make goals, can keep hold of the ball as well as Phil Foden. So it is my big doubt about England not creating enough and actually scoring enough goals in tournaments. And that's been the same in the World Cup, and that's been the same in the Euros last time out. And basically the defensive unit being so great is what's actually got them through, because they've only needed one goal to get there, or a 2-1. They've never really actually scored.
They've not properly bashed teams up, have they?
No, never. And a lot of the goals have actually, certainly the World Cup, 65% of the goals were from set plays, either corners or penalties. So it's a little bit of a worry about the creativity of the team. And that comes about, about too slow a build-up. When you get too slow a build-up, you don't get through those lines as quickly as possible, then you're ending up having to break 11 down all the time. And that is a difficult job at every level.
But and I think you've gone with two holding midfield players. Yeah. See, I think England are very good players, and I've not gone. I've only got Rice as a holding midfield player, and I think that should be enough against the mightier Iran and against the mighty USA and against the mighty Wales. With all due respect to any Welshman here, it is England now, and I think that's where the pragmatic approach comes from with the manager. I think that jumps out at me. He's super cautious. And it's that we're playing football that will nick games. We're not playing football that's going to go out and get everyone on the edge of their seat. Yeah. So that's why I play Maddison. I think I know Maddison's stats are the best of any attacking midfield player or any midfield player, full stop, in terms of assists and scoring goals. I also like the boy Mount at Chelsea. Yeah. Like him.
But he's not in either of your lineups, right?
But I think I think Maddison's in front of him.
What about Jude Bellingham? Because he's not in your lineup. He's in... Oh, come on, Graeme. He's a brilliant young.
He's heading for the top, as far I can see. Obviously, the preferred two, but for his injuries and his lack of appearances, would have been Calvin Phillips. But I think Bellingham's proved enough to actually be in there, and it isn't too much of an actually sitting midfield player, not like Declan Rice or Calvin Phillips. So I think that as Graeme said, it's the mighty Iran, and everybody will expect 3-0, something like that.
Before anyone digs me out, I was part of the World Cup squad for Scotland in '78 when we managed a really, really tough draw with Iran in 1978. So before we go any further, before there's any smart arses out there.
Graeme, how important could it be for Liverpool to sign Jude Bellingham? Because there's been a lot of talk about that.
I think all the big guns are after him, and I think Liverpool would do well to sign him. But I think they'll have stiff opposition. I'm not in the way of football today. If Real Madrid come for you, you generally end up there.
He turned Manchester United now to go to Germany.
But he's a player. I like him very much.
Yeah.
But I just think there's more goals in James Maddison. And I like James Maddison. I met him on holiday in Portugal last year. I don't know if you've met him. And he's got a bit of mischief about him. I said,
I see that, yeah.
Where did you meet him? In the club?
In a restaurant. No, it wasn't that. That was later.
Beyond the Algarve somewhere.
Yeah. So, but he's got a sparkle about him. He's got something that I find attractive in
character.
Yeah, he's got a bit of mischief. Yeah. And that's a mischief sort of can take you from a scale of 1 to 10. He's a 9.
His stats stand up, and he's in a struggling team, by the way. They've struggled all season, haven't they? He's been, he's the one been actually getting them out of trouble now and climbing up that league. But I mean, they went, was it 10 games at 1 point, I think? And he's got all those assists and contributions, goals. So can only get better from his point of view if he gets a chance. Whether he'll get a chance in the starting lineup is another matter.